development and management is not new and known to everyone whosoever working particularly in land management. So this is a, but this topic is also so I'm coming directly to the point of the watershed and its management. So I'm not going to derive here the watershed, what is the watershed, but of course, why we are talking watershed and why it is important. So if we see the natural resources in any given boundary of the land, which we call watershed, having a single outlet, especially water, soil depends upon rainfall characteristics, means magnitude, duration, intensity, or recurrence. Likewise, topography, gradient of the land, the water flowing from higher elevation to lower elevation, of course, governed by the topography. Then morphology, land features at the various locations in a given area. Soils type also influence on water and soil movement in a given area. What we referring here, watershed. Geology is also play a role. Watershed is not up to the surface water. It also govern up to some extent, or we can say on major extent to the groundwater and last vegetation cover. This controls the flow of water on the surface and also helps recharge towards the groundwater system. So among all these factors, if we see the vegetation is probably the most important factor in the hydrologic cycle, starting from the rainfall, occurrence, runoff, evaporation, and cloud formation, and again rainfall. If we see the entire cycle of hydrology, then where we can see vegetation is one of the key factor among all, which is highly affected by the anthropogenic activities. And this activity we can manage up to some extent. We compare with the other like the rainfall characteristics, topography, morphology, soils, geology. It is the natural, the things, and it is difficult to manage by the human being. Now coming the recent decades of hydrological characteristics of the watersheds and undergone substantial changes due to land use transformations leading to more frequent hydrological disasters. In the last 2 decades, if we see its frequency is very high and diverse. Enhanced variability in rainfall resulting in runoff, of course, a climate change effect. So rainfall days, duration, intensity, all these are changing widely in a short span of time. Of course, it affects on extensive reservoir sedimentation and pollution of lakes. So some figure, this will help to understand the watershed and why it is required for its management. So type of land degradation, the watershed is one of the way or methodology or concept by which one can manage the land degradation. So first come to the what and which type of degradation: water erosion, wind erosion, chemical degradation, physical degradation, and how much area in country is affected in irregular and non-irregular. In second column, you can say water erosion, having intensity of soil erosion up to more than 10 ton per hectare per year, that is 73, and highest among all types of degradation. Total in arable land, which which are affected by the land degradation, 104 million hectare. Among highest of water erosion, around 75% area is degraded by water erosion. The scenario in open forest, where canopy is less than 40%, there we can say again water erosion is highest among two, and total is 16. So total degraded land grand total, that is 120.72, and this is harmonized data by the various agencies. So question is, how could we arrest or reverse these degradation? What are the management? What are the methodology or whatever tools or technology? So Watershed is one of the way or best method to manage this land degradation, which we are going to talk here. So why watershed management? Losses of vegetative cover, as you are very much aware, followed by soil degradation from various forms of erosion, as indicated earlier slide, have resulted land thirsty in terms of water as well as hungry in terms of soil nutrients. Secondly, regions having livestock centered farming produce less biomass for animals, which not only reduces animal productivity, but the inevitable uncontrolled grazing on eroded lands further accelerate. So grazing is requirement for our livestock, but it will further cause the erosion. So here deteriorates and the ecological balance of that region. Growing population, we all are aware, higher demands for food and fodder coupled with impact of rapidly changing socio-economic conditions have added fuel to the fire. So this factor, population pressure, is tremendous, and we know its repercussions, particularly on the land, where land and man ratio is reduced. Fourth one, piecemeal approach. As I told earlier, watershed is not the new term. With the various concepts and approaches in our country and abroad, the workers are putting their attention for land degradation control and its management. But approach somewhere is piecemeal. In compartmental approach, like contour bunding, terracing, individual holding, or vegetation approach. So if it is fragmented approach, certainly the impact of our efforts is not up to the expected mark or result. So this is also one of the reason why we're talking here. So sporadic actions generally fail to attract farmers. If the action is divided one in a piecemeal approach, outcome is not achieving at the end what is expectation. Certainly, our approach will not attract the farmers. Thus, for maximizing the advantage, all developmental activities should be undertaken in a comprehensive way on a watershed basis, what we call integrated watershed management. Thus, watershed management emerged as a new paradigm for planning, development, and management. So, watershed, the terminology is same. Our approaches in planning, development, management is changing with the need of the time, based on our experiences, regional experiences, countrywide experiences, or the experiences taken from the other scientists working in their own countries. So social and institutional aspects apart from biophysical aspects, following a participatory bottom-up approach is also necessary for getting an effective outcome of the watershed. Watershed management becomes increasingly important as a way to improve livelihoods of people while conserving and regenerating natural resources. So we are trying to manage the biophysical aspects, minimize or control the degradation, cost of cultivation to support or improve the livelihood condition in rural areas. The role and importance of community participation in ensuring the success and sustainability of watershed management is now widely accepted. So the bottom line of these two slides is by only managing the biophysical aspects is not sufficient. Our approach should be innovative and more people-oriented, what we call participatory. So approaches and concepts. Last 50 years, we are trying many variations in conceptual models, objectives, implementation models of watershed program, and a number of angles added on over in last few years for betterment of the watershed and connect it with the climate change resilient approach. The initial protection oriented approach got enlarged to restoration of degradation areas and then to protection come production. So restoration of degraded areas, and then to protection come production. So every activity done on the field with some objective, final outcome, end product. So here production. Our activity in watershed, if well connecting to agriculture production, higher productivity per unit area in our natural resource ecosystem, it means the actions taken in watershed in the right direction. Watershed management is a single window integrated, what I told earlier, integrated participatory and sustainable area development program. So wherever watershed, if anybody is trying to implement, so think about the integration of participatory peoples with the resources to get a sustainable development of the program. Watershed concept is an integrated approach to harmonize use of natural resources like land, water, vegetation, livestock, fisheries, and human resources. And this is therefore we are saying the integration. So here integration of the various resources. Second, integration approach means starting from a small watershed and upscaling and expanding the area from one watershed to adjoining area and further adjoining area. So this is also integration. Your effective activities in a larger area, starting from a small micro watershed. A hydrological unit of an area draining to a common outlet. This is the typical definition of the watershed. Of course, most of our fellow participants may be aware that an area having a single outlet for what? Drinking water. So here we are trying to counting the water, every drop of rainfall falling in a watershed as a in situ as a runoff, conserving as in situ moisture conservation or recharging the groundwater system of that local area. So hydrology is important factor to understand a watershed. And we also call it hydrological unit. Watershed is a hydrological unit, and we are accounting a budgeting of water in a watershed. It is a classic way of working. The land, water, and vegetation resources. And watershed concept has been used extensively because of the importance of water balance in the study of ecosystem. So water balance, rainfall, occurrence in a particular area of watershed, then storage, surface storage, in situ moisture conservation, thereafter recharge. So surface and subsurface interaction is also important to understand if we are talking in a broader sense of a watershed. So groundwater recharge is also one of the key activities in watershed management programs. Also allows accurate measurement and monitoring of components of water balance in hydrologic cycle. So sediment, energy, heat, carbon, and nutrient balances in an ecosystem. So for proper planning of all these resources, water, soil, vegetation, and other components, first we know what is its status in our watershed, how much rainfall in that area, how much water is getting out as a runoff from the watershed, as a runoff, how much water is absorbed within the system, whether within the foliage of the watershed or the land system of the watershed. So this accounting is initial data is required. This balance and accounting is important for us to know and maintain. And if it is a baseline information, so after activities, various biophysical or agricultural activities, and how this data changes with a span of given time, that will show our impact of a watershed. So that is important. The baseline data regarding rainfall, soil, land, topography, and vegetation and nutrient of the soil for knowing the overall health of the soil is important. It provides a network of monitoring station. So of course, for measuring and for determining the value of each factors, the monitoring stations are required. For the runoff estimation, of course, the hydrological stations in a watershed required. So here, what I am trying to convey the message, I'm not going to say every watershed required to monitor all the parameters, particularly hydrological parameters. It is costly affair, experienced manpower is required, but in a region, few watershed is required to be monitored properly, and those data we can use as a calibration of the other watersheds will be taken in future, what will be their values. So for calculation purpose, for calibration purpose, at least one or two watershed in a region is required to know and keep a better record of all the parameters, particularly hydrological parameters. Monitoring at the level of watershed of sub-watersheds in a basin. Of course, we are talking about the micro watersheds. Why micro watershed? We can manage the management or measurement of all the hydrological parameters like rainfall, runoff, in situ moisture conservation, or recharge, subsurface flow or surface flow, stream flow. These by infiltration rate, all these we can manage at a sub watersheds. So a larger watershed can be divided in few sub-watersheds, and those watersheds monitored having different land uses. So impact of land uses on the two parameters, soil loss and runoff, at least we can correlate or develop a formulation, some methods. What is the relation between the existing land use and runoff and soil loss from that given watershed? So the level of concern is evident by the wide variety of programs, institutions involved in study and management of the watershed. And actually, I have been informed that students and progressive farmers are also attending this particular program. Therefore, I am going slow and slow so that everyone can understand the concept of the watershed properly. So traditional top-down approach of watershed has not paid dividends, particularly because of entire stress, biophysical aspects, without due regards to socio-economic. So these are the factors. And the last point here, integrated watershed, the covering area from the top to bottom approach is the better way to understand the watershed. Watershed workflow. Of course, you are aware, then Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sichai Yojana, watershed management programs are under this, and the PM-KSY having an approach end-to-end solution. Means if you are going to start something, that should have an end product or conclusion. So if we are talking about the irrigation facility development through the watershed, so what should we approach? So end-to-end approach, water sources, creation, repair, restoration, and innovation of water sources, distribution network, developing, strengthening distribution network for bringing water to farm, from source to the farm distribution. Means surplus area, so water surplus area to the deficit, water deficit area, then crop and water management, crop alignment, moisture conservation, and the key factor to understand water use efficiency, promoting efficient conveyance and field application devices, and encouraging community irrigation management. So these are the slides helping people. What are the activities? Rain water harvesting, community water tanks, ground water sources, river lift irrigation, water harvesting techniques, terracing, bunding, conservation bench terraces, on-farm development, lined open channel, underground piped conveyance system, small synthetic collapsible pipes. Nowadays it is popular. Micro irrigations, National Mission on Micro Irrigation. So these are the way we can enhance the several outputs of the watersheds. So here end-to-end approach, we can see end-to-end approach is starting from the perennial water source distribution system and ending with the command area. Command area. The bottom figure you can see the intake structure, pipeline, various kind of pipeline for economizing and reaching to the distribution in the command area. So this is the end-to-end irrigation plant. Now, soil and water conservation techniques in watershed perspective. So here, for the better management, divide the area into two parts. One, arable lands and non-arable lands of a selected watershed. In arable lands, the slopes having 2%, we have option to manage the soil erosion by the crop management. cultivation, contour farming, and other activities are plowing and other methodologies one can manage. If slope is larger than 2%, so better to go first funding up to 6 to 8%. Field building is the important nowadays in climate change conditions. Rainy days reduced, intensity of rainfall increased in most of the areas. Their field building helps a lot. The ridging of the field is important to store much of rainwater. The contour bunding, then graded bunding, according to the land conditions, we can go with the different bunding types, conservation trenches or ridges. Then if slope more than 8%, go with the terracing, bench terraces, zinc terraces, conservation bench terraces, Puerto and steep type. Other part, non-arable lands, which are the measures, diversion drains, contour trenches, staggered and continuous, creep structures, geotextile, geojute, wire, vastra, and crate. Local level, so many technologies. This is the broad measures I'm referring here, but at the local level, regional level, from north to south and east to west, people tried a number of measures, and this will certainly helpful for understanding the measures under arable lands and non-arable lands. Now coming to show why we are working on all these. So what is the impact of these technologies, soil and water conservation? In few forest-dominated works done by the Indian Institute of Soil and Water Conservation, I would like to show the data. The activity in one of the Fakot watershed, many of our friends here attending is of course aware about this is the model watershed in 1974, started by Indian Institute of Soil and Water Conservation, and thereafter Sukho Majri. This is also nationwide popular watershed near Chandigarh. So one of the example I am giving, what are the parameters? If activity biophysical, we are working, whether it is the arable lands or non-arable lands, so what are the parameters we should monitor, are indicators by which we can understand what is the impact of the watershed. So runoff percentage in pre-project and during intervention and after withdrawal of the project, you can see after 10 to 12 years, the runoff percentage was very high, 42. Thereafter, 14. Soil loss 10 hectare per annum, around 11 ton per hectare per annum. That reduced less than 2. Dependency on forest fodder, 60%. That reduced fruit production, milk production, cash crop, animal rearing methods, every indicator favoring after implementation of 10 years, various land and vegetation related activities in the watershed. One another, the drainage. Drainage is also a problem, and it drains eroding after every rainy season, its size increases and affected the adjoining area. So management drainage line treatments are required. One of the stream, this drain, treated, and we can see the indicators runoff in millimeter. Before treatment 55, reduced 38. Dry weather flow, this is also important to understand. Streams, in most of the stream, we have in summer is already started, and in newspaper we can see drying and dying of streams. Of course, watershed helps in rejuvenation the streams, and watershed make streams lineal or its perenniality of longer days. So dry weather flow 100 to 250 days, sediment load 330 reduced 5.5, vegetation cover less than 5 to increase more than 95. This is the impact what we are observing here. Bed slope, lower reach, middle reach, upper and toe cutting. Every parameters we can see reduced in favor of land productivity. In a mine spoil area, the various activities, silt detention barriers, gabion structures, as well vegetation in the sloping areas done, and its impact was drastic. This time anyone can visit that area, and a lush green area we can see there. And this is the indicators debris outflow 550 to 6, monsoon runoff reduced 57 to 37, water quality earlier not potable. That is the tourist site of that area, and potable nowadays. Lean period 60 days to 240 days likely. The perennial and vegetation cover. So two visuals we can say the condition of left one and after treatment, that is the right one. In other watershed at Almora done, and monthly the data was calculated, and there are three types of the watershed: pine, agriculture, and mixed forest. In this, the runoff were calculated, and we can see the total runoff how by the engineering measures and vegetation measures, as well as agriculture, conservation agriculture adopted in that area. This is also one bioengineering measures done in Shivalik Hills. And the last line we can see the runoff reduced from 21% to 3%. Continuous contour trenches. This is a bare slopy land, and it was rehabilitated by the continuous contour trenches in Punjab Shivalik Hills, and this is the impact of that area. Central Hill Plateau regions, the parameters, average rainfall, surface runoff, we can see here, and similar condition in Kota and other areas. So this two visuals, you can see the bare and degraded met approaches with the bamboo plantation and other engineering gully treatment applied in that, and after 5 to 6 years, see the greenery of that same area. This is the impact of that. Now coming to PMKSY, its focus much on irrigation. So one area, a conveyance system developed from source to the command area. That command area earlier was completely rain-fed near the Shivalik Hills. So this slides already I have shown, and its contour we can see the wide variability and undulation, the pipeline system, PVC pipeline in the command area, and in degraded area, particularly in degraded and scanty hilly areas, there is a PVC pipelines. So laying in that area, then on form, and every 1.5 hectare of this entire command area having one riser, and it is equipped with control valve, and it is completely developed on participatory approach. Micro irrigation system is also connected with this. So in PMKSY, the number of projects, how could we just, this is the comparison in case of the water course water, means water course open channels, and second one pipeline. So comparison GI pipeline 1.5 lakhs per hectare expenditure in this case, and GI pipeline 4-inch, I'm comparing the same area. PVC pipeline 1.6, 3.96 expenditure in lakhs, and total coming to here 26 lakh. And area is around 25 hectare, 26 lakh, all around 1 lakh per hectare costing here. But in case of channels, that is 1.5 lakh per hectare. And maintenance, if we see, so for pipeline, maintenance is only 1%. In water course, 10% every year. Channels are broken, washed away, and repair is required. Seepage is very high in the channels. Here, the seepage is almost zero. So the design and other activity added in this, and modeling was done for optimizing the border or check basins. So that is the size after the modeling, and the same layout applied in the field for getting higher irrigation efficiency. So this is the scenario of that watershed. Top left one, that was the condition. Thereafter, top right, you can see, and last the crops on the same land, impact of land use. At our university, Dr. Rajendra Prasad Central Agriculture University, we tried some innovations, particularly remote renewable energy, means solar pumps, and applied solar boat-mounted solar pumping system in the river adjoining area. You may be well aware, the network of river in Bihar and UP is very high, and adjoining area, riverine area in summer season, even in a stream there is water, but there is no irrigation facility. So solar pump, they're applied here, and farmers are getting or cultivating vegetables, particularly in the riverine area of the rivers. So this is some visuals. Solar tree, it is also tree in the pump, connected with the pump in some areas. So last coming, some conclusion. What should we do? Develop repository of database from various. This is the difficulty. We have less database, and in watershed we have to create and record the database to sustain the system, and also the people who are interested to work in their watersheds, they can review, learn from the older experiences. Segregation of impact of individual technical interventions done in the watershed on runoff, soil loss, and vegetation cover to assess the efficacy, and adequacy of interventions. Here we have the output, single output, but segregation is important of the various intervention among those which one is most effective, more effective. Extensive monitoring watershed with state-of-art instrumentation, this is lacking. So monitoring or measuring of water in streams, on the soil, or the groundwater status is important. Use the pair technique. Pair technique means monitor one watershed and compare the other watershed of that region with that watershed. So it will help in understanding and also quantifying the impact. Evolving methods for scaling up findings, impacts of the bioengineering interventions from small homogeneous watershed to complex and heterogeneous watersheds. So every watershed is heterogeneous. Most of the watersheds are heterogeneous. So the factors outcome is complex. So long experience and studies promote and strengthen a countrywide network for monitoring best management practices. Still, listing is required required for every region and their evolutions in terms of tangible and intangible benefits. Climate resilient agri-forest ecosystem or agriculture best ecosystem is required to be collected. So this is all about my presentation. Of course, this topic is wide enough and covering of the most of thing is difficult in the short time. In 45 minutes is over. So now I am requesting for
Thank you very
audience if
yes,
any
sir.
query and questions.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for a wonderful presentation. I will take up the questions from the participants now. In the meantime, can you please stop sharing the screen, sir? You can on your video, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I'll take up the questions now. The first question is, what are some key components of a successful watershed development project? Sir, you got my
Key components. Yes. Three major key components of water for a successful watershed is capacity building, participation, and benefit sharing. In most of the watershed, what we observed, the conflict midway or at the end of the project led entire your efforts to win. So at every activity, this is duty of the implementing agency to get the beneficiary skilled with the activity and enhance their capacity building for that particular activity. Second, their participation in the watershed is important. If they are participating, they will own their responsibility. This is my watershed. This is my activity. I am founder of this watershed. So this participation helps in owning the stake. Third, benefit sharing. Whatever benefits coming from the watershed, that should be shared proportionately among the beneficiaries.
okay. What are the potential challenges faced in watershed development and how can they be overcome?
Potential challenges in watersheds. If we see the watershed history, starting from in a mega way, 1974 onward. So earlier it was the biophysical approach. Biophysical approach means the objective of the watershed to create the resources in terms of water, soil, and maintain the soil fertility, and third one, biomass. So water conservation, and second, soil health for the agriculture, and a biomass for entire ecosystem. But after 1990, the social component, participation component added, and this proportion, biophysical basic watershed activity is diluted and more focus on social aspect like distribution of the goat, nursery plants, sewing machines. So the basic generation or creation of the resources of the water or maintaining the soil health is got less importance than that of other activities. So this is the challenge. How could we make a best trade-off and focus much on resource creation in terms of water, soil, and biomass? Yes, madam.
Okay, I'll move on to the next question, sir. The next question is from one of our member, Mr. Mohan Rao. He's asking, is watershed management necessary in residential houses too?
Residential?
Houses.
Yes. Watershed also we give the terminology like rural watershed and urban watersheds. If we are talking about the urban watershed, certainly nowadays it is much important. In most of the cities, Mumbai, Chennai, or others, we are witness of flood in the city. So all the drains are choked. There is no any bare land. The entire city is paved. Hardly 1 or 2% is unpaved area in kilometers of the land. So certainly runoff intensity is very high. So that is the one part. Another, the groundwater scenario of urban area and adjoining area is also grim. This water is creating a peak flow in the rivers. So we can go rooftop water harvesting and connect rooftop water harvesting with the groundwater recharge. It is a great help in the urban area, and urban water set is also important, equally important at the rural water set. Yes, madam.
Okay. What role can farmers and agri-entrepreneurs play in community-based watershed development? Sir, what role can farmers and agri-entrepreneurs play in community-based watershed development initiatives?
Farmers, first farmers. Okay. The last 2-3 slides, I was talking about Dehradun water conveyance system. That is, that area was gravel infested area, and no farmer taken any crop last 10 years on those lands. But simply a water resource facility created there by the conveyance system from source to that area. And in entire development, farmers' participation was in a lead role. So farmers in laying, joining the pipe, fitting the pipe, risers management, and overall the irrigation scheduling operators, they engaged, and this is the water association created there. So farmers' role in watershed, because the farmer is a primary stakeholder of the watershed. So all benefits is connected to the farmers. So his role particularly, as I told, participation, our mobilization in terms of capacity building or other motivational activities to mobilize the farmers to participate more in the activities so that they will get much benefit from their unit area. The second, entrepreneurship. Irrigation facility, the canal area, tube wells of private parties are also coming for the irrigation. So in case of irrigation facility development, if people are coming as a private partner in a watershed, we will provide the facility of the irrigation, and there is a charges from the farmers. Such custom hiring services are introducing in the rural area. The second part is the produce self-help group, through the self-help group, or FPO. FPO formation in water set is easier and more viable and successful in comparison to the other area of the formal group formation. So FPO formation, FPO, of course, a type of entrepreneurship activity. We can indulge toward that one. So in a watershed, earlier watershed society, better to go with the FPO format in a watershed that will be more beneficial for the entrepreneurship coming from the outside, as well as role player by the primary beneficiary farmers.
Okay.
Yes, madam.
Yes, sir. I'll move on to the next question. Are there any government schemes or programs available to support watershed development project?
Government?
Schemes or programs?
Yes, yes. Yeah. Prime Minister, simply anyone can search on Google PMKSY. This is the now umbrella. Under that umbrella, there are 4 components, and 4th component is integrated watershed management programs. This is at the central government level. At the state government, almost all state government having Directorate of Watershed or few with other names, they are also running the watershed programs. But the major funding coming from the PMKSY, Integrated Watershed Management Programs. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll move on to the next question, sir. What are some initiative and cost-effective methods for rainwater harvesting in watersheds?
Watershed development.
Yeah.
Yes. Watershed, in a watershed, certainly the farming community, they cannot afford the high tech. As I told, in water conveyance system, it was started in 2006 at the Dehradun, and we were involved very much intensively in that program. The water source from the command area 3 kilometers away, and that is the degraded slope area. So we laid the PVC only the critical zone, and thereafter PVC pipelines to cut the cost. And if we see the costing per hectare, so 30 to 35,000 per hectare cost, every field connected with the network, the pipeline, like a housing society. So every drop of the water is well accounted. So I mean to say that whatever the technology, we should try to explore the other possibilities in conveyance system in place of PVC, better to SDP for some difficult areas. If we have to convey in our agriculture, go with the PVC. Again, from the riser to the field level, 1.5 hectare having one riser. So 1.5 hectare, there is the big plot, and it is not owned by a single farmer. A number of farmers in this 4-5 plots, plots are there. So again, that riser connected with collapsible PVC pipe, holding type of pipes, and simply they put and outlet at their field. So what I mean to say here, from the source to the a single field head, there is no loss of water. As far costing is concerned, wherever required, PVC pipeline in the tough and more eroded site, GI pipeline, thereafter SDP pipeline, and at the end PVC pipeline, at the farmer's land, LLDP collapsible type of pipes were used. So this way, cost effectiveness is important. Second, for the check dam construction, tank construction, so material and other things. LDP line tanks, if it is possible, go with that one. If not possible, then go with the concrete structure. But in watershed, we discourage the concrete works, minimize it. Gabion structure, earthen structure, go with that one, and vegetation. So bioengineering, we call a term, or normally we talk about the bioengineering. Bioengineering means biological activities plus engineering, means to control a stream, dead stream, or degraded stream, a check dam is constructed. A gabion check dam is constructed. Yeah, we can say barrier. Gabion barrier is constructed. But what is the outcome of that barrier in long term? If we go with the alternate approach, vegetative barrier, gabion barrier, again vegetative like that, so that vegetation will give some outcome after 10 years, 15 years. So this way we can think what we are going to do, that must be in bioengineering approach. Yes.
Okay. Can you provide some examples of successful watershed management projects and their impact on agricultural productivity?
Some example I gave you, and I can share that one on PPT, or also I can list some watershed from South India, East India, North, and everywhere. The successful watersheds and many watersheds. So entire list I can share my PPT there is already given.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. And we have now completed the round of questions on behalf of agricultureinformation.com. We like to thank Dr. Ambrish Kumar for the talk and for answering the questions. I like to also thank all the participants in this meeting. This meeting will now be closed.
Thank you.
You're most welcome, sir.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir.
So now we can leave.
Yes, sir. You can leave.
Thank you very
You're welcome.
much.